Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Shino. We're back playing Vintage Story on the Rusty Gears SMP server. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good. As per usual, seems like every time I log into the server, it's at night. I don't know what it is. It's always at night. But we're going to get a little look. Because I have been doing a little lighting over here, too. So things aren't quite as dark as they were before. Been going around and getting a bunch of lanterns from the traders whenever I get a chance to. So that's, I've talked about this, that, one of the things that I want to do is I want to create different views, right? So when a person comes in, they're going to see like just a short glimpse of what's going on, right? So here's one view of what you're going to see. So we got to make, we're going to put an altar right up there in front of us, or a shrine. And then we're going to have, this area is going to be set up kind of as a way of displaying some of the dragon stuff there, right? Okay. And then you come down and the next vocal point you want to be at is going to be here. And now you're going to see, you're going to get a different view. What was over here, you're going to see the the tea house right up over here. So you get a view of the tea house from this spot. And then you'll be able to see, back off over this direction towards the little lake area. So every time you move someplace, you're gonna see something just a little different, right? And that's the whole purpose behind these gardens. They're meant to be explored. They're meant to be experienced in more than just the aesthetics. There's supposed to be a feeling involved with them. And so as I've been building, I like having like this area right here, and I got to do some work here because obviously the bamboo moved into the pond area and or into the river area, and I don't want that. So I'm going to have to kind of, fix some of this to kind of get some of it out of the way. However, one of the things I noticed the other day is I'm starting to see the dragon glow right up there. So when we get to this point, even something outside of what I'm building is going to be represented and seen. So Quentin's dragon from right up here, I wanted to put a display area here. So I put this little stone outlook area. So there's going to be a building there. But you see now we're getting a whole new view of the garden space. And yes, we've got another waterfall in. I'm pretty happy with it. So I wanted to put something that we could hear. So listen. Aesthetically pleasing, isn't it, to the ears? But I wanted to have an area where we could stand and be able to see things, once again. So we'll have a building here. We're going to have the tea house up here. And I've been putting in these kind of platforms to kind of identify, where we're going to have build sites at. So a building here, a building here. This is dark, but we'll come over and see it. We're going to be putting a building here. This is going to be our Zen garden, the sand garden. It'll be in like right here. And I may take it down one more layer. I'm still trying to kind of play around with the idea of another pond here, but I would like to have a building here as well, that allows you to, review the Zen garden area. The problem is that you're going to be looking down on the garden from up here, and we have views, of things outside. So that's why I'm kind of thinking, do I want to lower this down some? And maybe give ourselves an opportunity to kind of hide, some of let me get here to R and then G to hide some of what we're seeing. I can hide that, with plant growth over there. But if I take it down just a skosh, maybe it would be enough to kind of hide everything. I don't know. The problem with putting something over here is how the heck do I get to it? This area here is going to be kind of the end walkway. And I thought maybe put like a walkway going back behind the waterfall, have the waterfall come down and give an area to walk behind the waterfall and then come back out over here. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out, what to do. Or do I need to maybe move this wall out a little bit more And instead of having the Zen Garden observation area being here, maybe put the Zen Garden observation area over here, so that way you're looking back in this way at what we've got built. That might be an option there. But yeah, we're going to end up putting there is going to be a walkway, another Suki bridge, moon bridge that comes across over here. And then that'll be just like a little observation area I want to put up here to kind of look down onto the pond area. So we are really close. We are really close to having all this done. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Gotcha. We're very close to having this whole area kind of done here. And I'm really excited for that because that means we get to move on and do some other things. For instance, this area over here, I have been clearing a little more area out. And I know it's dark. Maybe I should go sleep. Let me go sleep. There we go. Now it's daylight and get a little better look. So I have been clearing some of this area out a little bit more, trying to push it back a little bit. We've still got a lot of work to do here. You'll see most of the upper area here has been done. And I've kicked it way back. So everything that we had kind of stored up here is now all gone. It's been moved up into a big pile over there. And that gives me the opportunity to start working on terraforming this area. So for example, here, I do want to have another stream that comes down through here. And yeah, we're going to take it all the way back from right up here. So we're going to have, this is a cave, and I've been doing a little bit of exploring down in there. There's not a whole lot to it. But we do have a little cave here. So we're going to put water coming out from the earth here, let it come across. We'll cascade down a couple of times, run the water all the way down through here. And that's just going to give us, one more area of movement here that I'm looking forward to having. And then we'll just bring the water down into this pond retention area. Again, we're working on making this look like the symbol, the Japanese hiragana. Is it hiragana or is it kanji? I don't remember. I think it's hiragana. But anyway, or katakana. I don't know. There's three different symbologies for the Japanese language. But anyways, I want to put the one that represents magic. It's actually a two-part kanji. I want to go ahead and have that kind of built in right here. So you'll be able to see it. Primarily, I want to be able to see it from the map here, is what I'm thinking of. But, one of the things we did in the last episode is we got our dragon. And we have a dragon. Oh, he's hiding in the wall. It is a male, and it's adolescent, so it's not quite the full-grown age yet. But I want to see, can I go ahead and claim this dragon? I don't know. I mean, with him in the wall like that, I don't know if I can or not. How do you do this? Place on the neck of the draconic mount to claim ownership. You can only claim one at a time. So yeah, he's got to have his neck out of there for me to do it. Come here. Come here. Get out of the wall. There you are. Can I do it? No, it doesn't look like it. I don't know if it has to be an adult or if I'm just not knowing what I'm doing on that. That's okay. We've got a couple of people here on the server who do have dragons, and they'll walk me through the process. But it's kind of cool. We got our dragon, and I'm ready to start doing a little bit of fun stuff. Okay, what are we going to do in this episode? I think we're going to start working on this wall a little more. It's what I've been kind of thinking of I need to do. We have this area that is right here that I know would be an easy one to kind of fix and to kind of play around with. So we might do that. So there's going to be a lot of chisel work, I think, in this episode. But I think it'll be pretty beneficial to go ahead and get this all kind of finished up. And we're going to have to do a little bit of trickery because we've got two different levels to the wall, right? The wall is only 2 blocks high on this side, and the wall is 3 blocks tall on this side. So when we go to put this wall in, I do want to have a cobblestone area at the bottom of the wall. And then I want to have, this kind of recessed in just a little bit more. So the whole wall is still going to be, 1 block wide, but we're just going to change the various texture or the various, the texturing of it to make it kind of stick out and protrude in some places and not in others, right? So we'll do that, and then I want to see, we might work on the gate, or we might continue working along the wall along this side. I'm not exactly sure yet. There is one more thing I do want to show up here, though. So I talked about we're going to end up putting a lot of the buildings up here, and I'm kind of creating the platform so I can move all of that stuff that's there. I want to get it up here on top of this hill. So what I am still planning on doing is most temples do have a pagoda, and that's going to be our pagoda. And it is going to be, I think it's 38 blocks tall by the time we get to the top of it. And I'm building this based on the pagoda at Mount Minabu is it the Yamanashi province? If I remember, it's in the Yamanashi province, but it's on top of Mount Minabu. And there's a temple up there, and they have a 5-story pagoda that sits up on top of the hill. And so that's what I want to do. I want to put the pagoda up here. Now, we won't be up in the pagoda. We'll never be, up here in this. But what will be really cool about it is it will be a visual symbol that people will be able to see, from no matter where they are in the spawn area. So I think that will look pretty cool. So we're going to put the pagoda up here, and then I'm building 2 different platform areas here for building on. We've got this platform area here, and then I'm going to work on this platform area here. We're going to put a stair, and I'm going to pop up a little bit higher so you can look. This line right here, you can see that sandy area right there. We're going to be putting in another gate house right there, and that's where we're going to put in the Torii gate. And then we're going to have a long walkway and a straight path. Originally, I said I didn't know if I wanted to go straight or not. We are going to put a straight path up through here, leading up to this point. And then we'll have another gate area that will lead into the magical area all by itself, right? So, that's what we're going to be working on. Not in this episode, but that's eventually what the plan's going to be, is we're going to be having another walkway with another gate, and that gate the Torii gate will probably be, right up in this area, since this is where the end of the temple complex is going to be at. Cool. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. A lot of jibber jabber. Let's get going. All right. I'm gathering up a few things I'm going to need here. One of the things I want to use is chert. And what's really cool about using these pallets is you can see there's 3 different types of stone in this. We've got the periodotite, we've got the clay stone, and we got the chert. So I can hold on the control and right click, boom, and you'll see a plus sign now over the clay stone, and now it's over the chert. So now as I process this, I'm only going to get the chert. I'm not going to get the other stones out of there until the chert's gone, right? Once that happens, then that's what we get. But right now I want to get chert. Let's gather up pretty fairly decent amount. We don't need a whole lot right now because I'm really doing this just to kind of build my palette. I want to see what are some stones that'll work really good with this wall. So down in the basement, I have recreated a wall section. There we go. We got us a nice little section of wall that we can kind of play around with. And I have gone ahead and made all of these as chiseled blocks. So if I go and I hit F, you'll see, like over here, I've got bauxite, and over here, I have the periodotite. So I wanted to get something for the center one. So that's why I thought that I would like to see what the chert would look like. I'm going to throw some chert in there. So we've got a spot to store it. And then let's grab some clay, which there's probably some in here. Oh, yeah, there is right there. So we can make us some cobblestone out of chert. And there we go. Let's see. We're going to hit F on there, and then we're going to drop in a piece of that. Cool. So we're going to do a couple things here. We're going to play with this area here until we figure out, exactly what we want it to look like. And right now, what I want to see, not so much, the actual what it's going to be. What I want to see at this moment is what's it going to look like with, the certain stones that are in here. So I'm going to click out this bottom row like that. And then we're going to come in here and I'm going to select that. Now we can kind of see, and I'm just really looking to see, hey, how does the color here work with this and with that, right? And really, all three of them would work, just fine, actually. With the exception, I think maybe the bauxite, maybe not so much. Yeah, that one's a little tough there. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and change this to the 4x4. Nope, not the 4x4, the 8x8. Right there. Let's knock that out and put in that. Yeah, now it's not gonna, we're just gonna have like a base area here. So the next thing I want to do is I would like to get the planer, the hand planer, that thing right there, right? Yeah. And there's a mode for this, and I want to see, I think I can do F, and I can say add, remove, matching material. So this is any material. This is matching material. So it shouldn't affect that. It should only affect that. So I can kick that in. Yeah. Knock that back a little bit. Let's go in like 2, 3 maybe. Maybe 3. I think that works kind of good. And then this one we can go back also 3. I think so. I think we're starting to kind of get a feel for what we're wanting to do here. So I kind of like the green. Let's see what it looks like with the shirt. There we go. Ooh, I do kind of like that. Not going to lie. So now with the pantograph, let's go ahead and grab it. And again, there's a mode on here that we can paste shape only is what we want to do. So we're going to right click, take a picture, and then paste it. And paste, and paste, and paste. Oh, it changed that. Oh, interesting. I wonder why it did that. No big deal. Let's go here to here. Boom, 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 boom. Cool. And then we can take that and then boom, 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 and boom. Okay. Yeah. See, we're starting to get that look. And really, I really think that this is the color right here. I think this is the combination that's going to work best. I'm thinking that I would like this surface to be the farthest out surface. So I'm going to knock that back like that. It's going to give us a little more the depth there. I'm going to kick this back in one more because I do like that kind of 3 wide. Like that. Cool. I think so. This thing, let's take a look and see what we're going to end up doing with these blocks here. I think so. I'm going to just do a 1 wide area right along the side. Now we're going to be doing a little extra detailing, but this is going to be like if it were new, right? If this were a brand new build, this is what it would look like. We'll go and age it. Move back to about here. And I'm going to hold on the Alt key. And the Alt key allows me then to lock my view in, but I can move my mouse up and down, move my mouse around, and it won't change my perspective. If I didn't have that on there when you move the mouse, see how it does that? So having this locked in here, hit Alt, hold the perspective, and then we can move the chisel up. Right click, or left click, then right click. Right click. There we go. We just duplicate it. Ooh, all right. We're getting there. Now, there are some areas here where I might like to have the stone, come up a little bit more. So what we can do is we'll go in, we'll just keep it on the 1x1, and we can go ahead and add like a little more in here. I remember Shino talked a little bit about, how to do terraforming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is good. 6 is okay. 7's the limit. because look at what happens when you add an eighth one in there. It starts to look a little, you know? So I like to kind of keep things kind of moderate the way that they go in. And we can do, you know, maybe bring this one out a little bit. We'll put that one there, and maybe do something like that. See? Now we can add just a little more stone in here to kind of give us a little more texture on that wall to kind of show some variation. Now, what we have to remember, though, is that this is now all one block. So if we're going to create an area like this along one edge, that's fine for an end piece like this. But if we were to copy, and then we came down here and we said, hey, let's paste. You see what it does? It kind of pops up like that. So what I want to do is I want to create and add maybe one of these blocks will add another continuation of what's already here. Like that. So that it kind of grabs from the next layer. Because really what I'd like to have, one of the things that I think is really cool about Vintage Story is the chiseling mechanic within it. And one of the cool things about that is to make things chiseled that don't necessarily look like they've been chiseled. And what I mean by that is we're used to being able to see these blocks operating within a 16 by 16 confine. By extending part of this edge between the two blocks, making them work together in such a way, we actually create a little more uniformity that's not uniform anymore. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So if I take this one now and I paste over here, watch what happens. Oh, it changed colors. Of course it did. Oh, I know what we need to do. We need to go here and we say paste shape and material. There we go. So that piece with that build now works perfectly in that corner. This piece here works perfectly in that corner. The two together work perfectly together. And I like that. Hey, now there's could be a possibility where, you know, this is rammed to earth. And I'm not sure if I could explain exactly, you know, in contextually what rammed earth is. But I would speculate that what we're looking at here would be something that's been packed very heavily together. And I have a feeling in my gut that there could be certain circumstances where something within there might be a little more visible. Right? So now what I want to do is I want to remove like that. And actually, let's do a 2x2. I kind of see something coming from this. Let's do another 2x2. Let's take a little more 2x2 out of this. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go leave it in the 2x2. I'm going to put this back in. Oops. F that. That. Let's go ahead and take okay. Yeah. I'm seeing this now. So now if I go back to the 1x1 and we take this out, let's say take this corner here like that out. Oh, no. We need this to stay out. We're going to go to here to the planer, make sure we're on add remove matching material. And we're going to take it back. right? Just one layer back. Okay. And now I'm going to take the chisel here and I'm going to go back to the rammed earth and we can start to bring it back up like this. Hey, I like that. Yeah, that's looking really good. Isn't that looking good? That is looking good. Yeah, I do like that. Yeah. And we can do some different shapes, styles, and designs. So my idea here is I'm going to create a couple of reliefs like this, maybe up in some of these blocks. Okay. And not every block is going to be relief like this, right? We're just going to do this kind of sparsed out among the entire build line. But I think we can get a pretty good idea of what we want to have done by doing it this way. Secondly, let's go ahead and take a peek here at these things that, that we have here. One, I don't like having these rest right out to the outside edge. I would like to have them stepped back a little bit looking at this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this planer and I'm going to give it a kick back. Okay, just like that. And that's going to give us a little better of an overhang than what we had before. Honestly, I think this whole thing needs to maybe recess in one more. So let's go to F and we're going to say add remove any material. Okay. So now when we go to click on this, it's going to take the whole thing back. Okay. I had to do a little bit of rework because one of the things that you have to watch out for is sometimes when you're removing like this back, if it's not this all the way through, well, then it leaves like a vacant valley between there and it was just not working out right. So I wanted to kind of redo. Plus I wanted to push this back a little bit more. So you can see now we've got a much better overhang here. So I think this works a little bit better. So now I'm kind of back to where we were. And so, what I want to do now is kind of fill in some of these using the rammed earth. Again, we're just trying to make it, we want to see like something peeking through to kind of show that, maybe things have deteriorated along this edge here just a little bit. So I think this works pretty good for displaying that. There we go. We're starting to see not but exactly what I want to do. Now I did put a kind of a hole here so I can kind of look to gauge how thick this is. Because remember, we're going to have two sides to this. And I do need to do some stuff here to the back, but it's not going to be as aggressive as what we're seeing up here. It'll be a little more subdued in the back than what we're seeing, but I still don't want to go too narrow. So right now we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 on the depth. I think that's probably just about right for as far back as we want to go. Right. Cool. Okay. So that is kind of the wall. What I'm thinking of is what we're going to do for the wall all the way around the outside edge. We've got a little bit of an overhang here and we can now distress this a little more. We want to make this also kind of look a little pitted and worn. Not too overly aggressive, of course. But, we do want it to look like, stuff's bumped up against it. We've had a little bit of rot down here at the bottom. So we can kind of change this out a little bit more, just kind of show it kind of wearing out into the soil. And I collapse this down here. Maybe we need to also show a block that is kind of worn also down at the bottom. So we could take this back a little bit, just along this edge. There we go. That'll give it a little more texture there. So yeah, we can show this, and this one actually I may take it up and then back in a little bit more. Because, you know, even though we can't change color, I mean, we could add another block in here, maybe put a different color wood, kind of like what we've done here. We could put a different color wood inside there, and that might look pretty good, actually, thinking about it. That might not be too bad. Let's take a look and see. So I've been thinking about using debarked ebony in some areas. And let's see, let's kind of get a look at what this would look like. Let's do about like that much right there. And we could actually, you know what, let's go ahead. While we're here, let's just see what the debarked ebony would look like in this fence. So it should be relatively easy to swap out. So we just do that, right? And then we can copy. And then paste. What did I do? Copy, paste, shape only. What's going on here? Copy, paste. Yeah, I don't know why it changed, because that should not be two different materials there. That's interesting. I'm going to break this one down, because it does still say debarked ebony log. Let's try a different one here. Let's put that down. And let's do a copy. And then a paste. Ooh. Ooh. You know, I do kind of like that. I do kind of like that. Because you end up getting that texture to it, the different colors, which is something I was going to try to replicate here. Now, like I said, the other side of the wall here is gonna have to kind of wait until we have kind of a good idea of what all it's going to look like, right? But I think what we can go ahead and do is probably reduce this area back till it is about the same width of this one here, which is kind of lining up with that point right there. So go back a little bit more, and that's probably about right there, isn't it? Yeah, I think that is. I think that's about where it needs to be at. So we can go ahead and do this to kind of get that kind of lined up a little bit more. We'll have to work on this kind of stuff, what it's going to look like once we get to, because each area is going to be just a little bit different. I mean, across the front too, don't get me wrong. Oops, wrong one. Undo. Just going to paste this over on that side. And same thing here. Is that good? That's good. Yeah. And the reason it's going to be different is just, you know, again, we've got different elevations. So on the back side, we may have like a great big tall wall. And we're not going to have this floating 2 blocks below here if this thing's 6 or 7 blocks tall. Okay. So I think the next thing we need to do is we need to start using this to give us an idea of what we're going to need for our chisel blocks. Okay. If I were to put in a stack of rammed earth and a stack of bauxite and a stack of chert, and then run this through, this is what we would end up making an exact duplicate of that block. That's cool. I'm okay with that. I don't want an exact duplicate of that block though. Okay. I'm going to try to get you to understand this a little bit. I want this to be duplicated, but you can see that this block here, all of these share the same characteristic. So what I want instead is I want a block of rammed earth right here. And I'm going to put it down like that. And then I'm going to do the chisel thing on it. In here. I'm going to do the chisel thing, right? We're going to turn it into a chisel block. And then we're going to do the F and we're going to add in the church. Like that. This block now represents every variant that we can get from this row right here. Every variant. So this is the block that I want to copy. Okay. So what I would like to do is to try to kind of help keep everything a little better organized is let's grab some chests. I don't need that many. I'm just going to start off with like maybe 4 of them to get us started. If we need to add some more, we can add some more. Cool. I'm going to put this right here. So I'll put them in just like that. And what we're going to call this block, we're going to call it the wall base stone. I'm going to come up here. We'll do a shift, click, and we'll call it wall base stone. Here we go. So this is now the block that we want to duplicate here. And I think what you should probably do here also is let's go ahead and say that is hit enter and say rammed earth and chert cobble. Okay, so this is the block now that we want to be able to duplicate. So I'm going to put this in the first spot. I'm going to put the chisel in the second block, and it says, hey, rammed earth and the cobblestone. We'll put that in like that. And now we should be ready to go. So now we're just going to hold on the right mouse button, and it's going to start kicking out and creating these. Again, if you had it chiseled already to be, the stone that the shape and style and everything you want it to be, it would be duplicating that to include the materials and the shape. So this is going to copy the shape and material. But because I'm going to be doing a lot of variation to the wall as we kind of go along, and I'm not exactly sure what that variation is going to look like and when, I think it's better if we just start with just the blank pieces. All right, now that we've now run out of the chert, so we can take out, now we have 24 of these blocks that are ready to start receiving any of those type of chiselings. So there we go. That one now becomes our main piece. That's the piece that anytime we need to make any more of those, that's what we'll pull from that. Okay. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on doing the same thing for these, but I don't think on these. Let me grab another chisel here. I don't think I had anything in these, so we may not need to chisel these through the workbench. Do the F. Yeah. These will be just fine as they are. Cool. So then really there's 2 more left here, but they're the exact same. Remember, that's the thing about it. These are going to be the exact same block. They just have different chiseling patterns on them. So this is going to be the rammed earth and the acacia. So we need to make one that has the rammed earth and the acacia in it. So that F, and then the acacia. And same thing. We're just going to put it in here. It's going to tell you we need rammed earth and acacia. So we can put that and that. And these are now ready to go. Now there is one thing that I would like to try. Let's go hit the F menu. So we can go into, with the chisel, we can hit set name, and then we'll right click and it'll bring out the block name. We're just going to call this one wall with acacia. There we go. And we'll hit save. Now that is wall with acacia. Here's what I'm curious about. If I now use the workbench and I copy wall with acacia, will it kick out something called, will it copy the name over too? That's what I want to find out. So we're going to do this. We'll just do one just to see. Yes, it does. Cool. That's what I wanted to see. Because I got to think, I was like, if I've got all these using the rammed earth, they may not be, it may not be as easy to see what they are doing it that way. So, I like this. I'm going to go ahead and continue to do this. Now, the other thing that I would like to test is I made these pieces using this right here, right? Which is just the plain rammed earth. And if you haven't ever looked, rammed earth has multiple variants on it. You can put it in the first one you get. You can put it in, it's going to make that one. Okay. And they're all rammed earth, and they're just different slight variations to the texture to them. And you cycle all the way through. As you go, you can go through each one of them and you just drop it into your crafting grid. It becomes the next one, right? So where I'm curious at is I've used different texture tops here in these, and I would like to keep that kind of variation in there. So the question that I really have is what happens. So for example, let's grab these right here. If I put them here, see, they don't change, right? So I think it's kind of locked in. So now I'm wondering, like, if I take, let me give it 2 of these, like that, and I'm going to put them in there, and I'm going to grab the one that says wall with acacia. That's my named one now, and I'll put it in there. And now when I process this, is it going to give me that texture? Or is it going to give me that texture? Let's find out. Oh, yeah. So we can see that right there. It's not letting me, because that texture doesn't match to that one right there. It won't let me do that. Very interesting. Okay. So I'll have to take that into consideration while I am doing this construction. When I want to use that particular texture, I'm going to have to probably do that just a slightly different way. So since we're going to be changing out to the ebony, I think we're probably going to have to get our supply of ebony wood going here a little bit better. Now I'm going to go grab quite a bit. I'm going to go buy some from Punk to get us going here. But I want to go ahead and get a nice group, and you can see I've got a lot of seeds there already. Nice having Punk right next door to me when I need this stuff. Let's see, and he does have a note here. It says wood prices are for logs, planks are shown. So 3 gears for 32. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 8 times 3 is 24. Punk, you're gonna have to get over here and pick up your coinage here, brother. You're making bank over here. Our first thing we're gonna need to do is we've got a bunch of logs that are the debarked oak that are in the wall right now. We're gonna have to get rid of all of those and get ready to replace them. Okay, ebony has all been replaced. All the way around this front edge. Again, we're just going to work on this front edge right now. Next thing we need to do is replace all of these bottom blocks and get them out of here, and we'll get in the new rammed earth. All right, I've relocated part of the wall out here that we're working on right now. What I would like to do is to have this rotate, and I don't have a chisel on me. Let's go grab a chisel. We're going to rotate it so it's the same orientation as what we're working on right now. Okay, got the chisel. There are a couple ways that we can rotate these blocks. QP Tools has one. It is the hand wedge. And if you go into the contextual menu, hit F, go into the menu. You can see you can mirror blocks also. You can move them within the space, and you can rotate the blocks, right? So I can do that, and then we can hit and rotate. But, you know, the rotation is kind of dependent upon where you're looking at. Within the regular chisel, it'll rotate it on the same plane. We got to have a hammer. It'll rotate it along the same axis. So it doesn't matter really which way you press on it. It's just going to move it, right? And so we want these all to be facing this direction. So let's get these moved. W2. Cool. Now, it looks like I got them in the reverse sequence. Looks like this one needed to be over here, and this one needs to be over there. Like that. And like that. Cool. That's what I'm looking for right there. So now we've got the beginnings of what we're going to be working with here. And so I think what we're going to do is we're going to grab like, what did it do? Oh, shoot. F, undo. No big deal. Take this and we'll rotate it again. That. And it was this piece right here. Copy. Paste. There we go. Yeah. All right. Though that's the one we want to start off with. So we're going to copy that. And let's just go over here and say mark that one. Cool. And you see now we've got what we're going to be looking at as far as how the wall's going to go now starting to take shape. So we can start putting these in different spots. Again, it doesn't have to be that we're going to put them in, you know, every single one. We're going to do this kind of the way we see it needs to be done. And yeah, we'll go from there. And then I may do, you know, this may be where we put one of these into this one, and I'll do another one, but I'll put it maybe onto that one. Maybe the same thing here, but this time I'll put it into that one. And this time I'll do it into that one. Cool. So that gives us that first one there. I'm now going to copy this one, and this will always be one that will park next to that. So where we have that in the middle, it'll kind of go in to complement it. Like that. And like that. And then we may come in and let's say right here, put it into that one too. And now we'll take and we'll copy this one. And we can go in and kind of drop it, you know, in between each one of these as we see fit. You know, just drop it in. Maybe this is one where, you know, we may, in this area, we may not do that crumbled part 3 in a row. But over here, we may do crumbled one there and a crumbled one there. And then for these final pieces, I'm going to go ahead and use the hand planer. We're just going to knock this one back to the position it's supposed to be in with the rest of the wall. It looks like one more back. There we go. I'll go to the chisel. We're going to pull up the cobblestone, and can I go with something a little bit bigger? Not really, but that's okay. There is a way we can do this. We'll just do this, this, and this. And then we'll use the hand planer. And we should be able to do that. Just to bring this one the rest of the way up to meet the rest of it that we're doing. And then we can come on this side. Push it this way. Cool. And now I'm going to take a picture of that. And now anywhere that we have, you know, nothing that we've added so far, we can just go ahead and add that in. All right. Feeling really good about that. Bottom area of the wall is pretty much done. I think the next thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and do the top area. All right. I've moved the template out here for the wall section that has the acacia in it. Put it in, reversed it, so it's now in the same orientation as this wall that we're working on right here. So here's something I'm thinking about, though. I like having the variation in the wall that I have here. But if I were to replace the pieces that I have, say this one right here, if I were to put this one in, that would be fine. Okay, because it looks identical to what we're already dealing with, but over here it would not, right? So like that piece, let's go ahead and grab a copy of this one, and we'll come over and we'll say boom, and we'll do that. Okay, so now we've got a copy. We brought it in, and you know that's okay. Yeah, I think we're all right with that look right there. But the rest of these, they're not going to quite work the same. And here's something I want to test. Like I'm going to take this piece right here, right? And I'm going to say paste shape only. Okay. So we're going to copy that, and we're going to say, hey, we're just going to go into paste shape only, and we're going to click this one. Okay, that maintained its same texture, surface texture when it did that, right? Let's try it with this one. Okay, that maintained the same texture. Cool. So, can I let's grab this one? Let's go try this one right here. And now I'm going to say paste shape and material. Oh, so because I've got the material in my inventory, it should pull it out and put it in there, right? So you see 63 and 45 there, right? Let's just test and see if that's what I'm seeing correctly. Let's do one over here. Yeah, see that? This number went down to 62. So it was 64, now it's down to perfect. That's awesome. And I think that is going to take care of the top row. Hey, looking pretty good. So, yeah, I did go through. There's a few probably repeating patterns in here. I can change that up a little bit. Just kind of give me a little more variation in it. You don't need to have them in every single one of them. This one got a little crazy down here, I think. Let's go ahead and just do a copy there. Maybe remove a couple of these where it was getting a little, a little overboard in the amount that I was doing here. Let's do that one too. It doesn't need to have one in every single one of them. And it doesn't even need to have, any in any of them, but yeah, I just want to make sure that kind of getting a good representation. I'll stand back and take a better look at it with a more critical eye. All right, that takes care of that part. I think now we need to take care of these posts, the debarked ebony logs, and turn those into their new variant. And that should be pretty close to having this part done. All right, we just went down and got me a fresh stack of peanuts to kind of hold me over while we're working on the rest of this. thanks to the community garden here. And there we go. We've got the beginning of what the wall's going to look like. Probably need to put maybe a little more down into here. I don't know. Maybe get rid of some of this. May need to move like this one around a little bit more. I do have some acacia on me. Copy F, paste the shape. Let's do maybe right here. It's done it again. Okay, I'll play around with that and see if I can get that to kind of go in into that area. But I like it. I like that. I like it so far. This is the way it's really starting to come together pretty good. Like I said, this area, I think we're going to turn this into a gravel area, which will be basically the exact same thing we've been doing so far. The inside here, this is where things are going to get a little more complicated to handle, because we're going to have, like, I won't have anything on this side. That is the insulated wall base block, but this is going to be also the wall insulated base block, and this will be a continuation of this one once we get it kind of all fabricated the way we want it to look here, right? So yeah, we'll have to have a new base block down along this edge, all the way down along through here, at least where we can see. You know, there's areas where we'll never get into, and I'm not going to worry about those too much. Where it's going to become really, really important, though, is when we start working in this area over here. We've got to do some more terraforming, some more planting here to kind of soften this hard line that's coming up to the top. But then this wall is going to have to extend down some. I know that for sure. So we're going to have to do some terraforming here to kind of fix all of this. And then the new base will be wherever we set it up here to be. So yeah, that's something we're going to have to work on. I'm going to do some planning on that between episodes. But for right now, I'm very happy with the way this front wall is starting to look. I tried a couple of fixes for what I thought would work at these diagonal areas like this, and it does not look good in the creative mode where I've been kind of playing with it in my build world. So I'm going to have to fix these lines. I'm not going to be able to do these. They're going to have to be hard lines. These corners, and same thing over here. So earlier, beginning of this episode, I said we may extend this back some, take some more of this space here, and then move the line back, and then I could put in the build here for the Zen Garden observing area, which I think would work pretty good. It would give us a pretty decent view from here. So I think that's what we're going to end up doing, okay? All right, folks, hey, that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for spending time with me. Next episode, though, I think we're going to get back into some magic stuff, and we're going to get our Oculus and the Sanctum put together so that we can start making spells and casting spells on demand. Cool? All right, folks, we'll see you in the next episode. Take care.